Hello, welcome back to my channel. The lighting is horrible. I am in my classroom, so we got that fluorescent lighting. And yes, I'm also on my phone. But you know what? I'm filming an intro to this video and I really don't care. Don't mind my classroom. Okay. Anyways, so today I thought it would be fun to do a recipe that I wanted to make forever for one. So a recipe for one, a single gal trying to make a gourmet meal for herself. So I'm making Gordon Ramsay's beef Wellington recipe. I've been wanting to make this forever, so if you're interested in learning how to make it, seeing how I make it, any part of this video, then keep watching. The first thing you need to do is heat up a pan on medium to high heat, and then you need to get your meat prepared. So this is a filet mignon. Now, if you get longer pieces, you're gonna have to cut them and shape them in the fridge overnight. Mine was shaped, that's why it's in this cling wrap and this aluminum foil. Heat up your olive oil in your pan, get your meat all ready, and then the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to chop up some mushrooms while my pan is heating. You're supposed to use wild mushrooms. These are Bella mushrooms. Honestly, I don't think it really matters, but don't tell Gordon Ramsay that. Once your pan is finished heating up, start to season your meat. You are going to be browning this meat, and it's going to be browned on each side of the meat so that it's raw on the inside and like a little charred on the outside. Usually about 30 to 60 seconds per each side of the meat. How many times can I say meat? Lord. Okay, so this needs to be flipped over now to get the other side going. So this is a kind of a recipe that you have to do in all simultaneously. So I'm gonna be cutting while I'm browning and vice versa. I'm trying to get this mushrooms down to a pretty small size. Honestly, it might be easier if you just like use a food processor. Lord, I can't think. If you use a food processor like Gordon Ramsay does, it'd probably be easier, but that's okay. I thought I did a pretty good enough job. I'm just going to use this plate, and that's where I'm going to put my meat that's been browned and raw on the inside and let it cool for later. Now I'm going to add some more olive oil, and then I'm going to pour in my mushroomies. Add thyme to this. So you need to take sprigs of thyme and, kind of like shave off the little leavies and pour that in to saute up with the mushroom in the oil. This is going to become a very fragrant spread for the meat. I'm just going to add a little salt to the mushrooms and thyme that is sauteing up in this pan and mix it around real good. I think that I overcooked it slightly, but it's supposed to just become like this little paste. Mine became like little dry crumbles, but whatever. Moving on next to our phyllo dough. This was kind of complicated. I would use a regular puff pastry, but I got phyllo dough. You got to use some flour to make sure that it doesn't stick, and you got to just kind of spread it out so that it becomes like a flat little pastry that you can wrap the meat in. This was a mess. I seriously, just go get some regular old Pillsbury pastry dough, and I'm just gonna pop this in the fridge.
At the end of the day, what can you do? I feel like I'm pretty proud though. I feel like, I don't know, would I do this over again?
Ooh, it's cling wrap time.
I probably wouldn't.
I don't know why I was so excited this, but you need some cling wrap and you're gonna lay it out on the table. Then you gotta grab some prosciutto. My suggestion is keep it in the fridge until you're ready for this step because this was really sticky. Lay it out flat, and then you're gonna put your browned meat on top of it. Season it a little bit. You don't need a lot. The prosciutto is very salty. And then use the cling wrap to wrap the meat fully in the prosciutto. This is the part that would have been easier if my prosciutto wasn't as like stuck to itself. And then I just kind of just manipulated it so that it covered the whole thing. Then wrap it up really tight and put it back in the fridge so that it will form its proper mold. Next, grab some eggs and grab your phyllo dough or your pastry dough back out. You are going to be washing this dough, making an egg wash. So take an egg or two, I used one, and scramble it on up, and then just brush it along the pastry dough or your phyllo dough in order to get it malleable and that so that it'll have a really nice golden brown, like goldeny crust. Next, grab your paste, or, as mine is crumbles. I hope yours looks better than this. But put that on top of the phyllo dough. You are going to be putting the meat wrapped in the prosciutto on top of that. So that's like a little in-between layer. Yes, place it down there, girl. And then you gotta wrap your puff pastry around it. Again, would be much easier with real puff pastry, but this phyllo dough was a mess. Also, honestly, I'm horrified to even show you this, but this was only for me cooking. I would suggest you get a brush, but I used my fingers and just tried to I don't even know. Make this into one like solid piece and then brush the outside of that. But you're gonna pop that baby in the oven for about 20 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Yay, 20 minutes. An unfocused thumbs up. Woo. Okay, so I pulled it out and I checked it. And as you're going to see in a minute, spoiler, it is very, very, very rare. And to be honest, I would eat it this way. But I did put it back in the oven for another like 5 to 10 minutes. I think it ended up being about 8 minutes to get the inside to not be as rare. Putting it back in. That's what that face is saying. Woo! And then it was done. So I added some sterling wine to the mix. And then I also added some broccoli leaves. Okay, so I figured I would do a real full taste test with this is a pretty big bite. This is really good. I just spit. This is so good. So it doesn't look pretty, but it is real good. Oh my God. So we had some issues with the phyllo dough. I think I would use like regular puff pastry instead of like weird Whole Foods frozen phyllo dough, but it tastes really good. It just like didn't really stay on. I love my meat perfectly rare. Got some broccoli and some sterling cabernet. You can be fancy by yourself. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that video. I very much enjoyed filming it, 1, and eating it 2. It was delicious, and I loved it. And I know, I did some variations of mine, did whatever I wanted. You do whatever you want. You do it. You do it. Cooking isn't that hard. It's just putting love and energy and testing and tasting along the way. That's really what's very important. Like, don't just make something and hope it tastes good. Taste it! Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye! Dee's Extra Magic Moments. Dee's Extra Magic Moments.